Ukraine has made one of the biggest advances since the beginning of the war, on the Ukrainian side and on the Russian side. Let's quickly take a look at the maps. As you can see, Ukraine has taken a ton of land in the last couple of days, and now they are in a major battle to take this city. This city right here is extremely important, simply because there's a railroad track that connects this city to Belgorod in Russia, and this is where all the weapons and soldiers come from to fight on this front. So if Ukraine is able to take this city, it will be a huge blow to the Russian invading forces. But guys, you have to think of it realistically. Ukraine has taken a ton of land. It is extremely important to build new defense lines, because the Russians are sending massive reinforcements to pretty much take control of this city and not let it fall to the Ukrainian forces. And if there's no defense lines on this territory that the Ukrainians have retook, if the Russians get a lot of reinforcements, they'll be able to take this land back easily. One other thing that I would like to mention, a lot of people in the Russian groups are pretty much saying that Izum is completely surrounded. I believe the Ukrainian forces have made it all the way down to this part right here, and they have taken this bridge as well. If we take a look at this map right here, you will see that Izum is almost surrounded, and the Ukrainian forces have almost made it to this bridge right here. But I believe as the battle continues and as the fog clears, we will see that Izum is pretty much surrounded on all sides by Ukrainian forces. This situation can play out in many different ways. The Russian forces can surrender, and then a lot of those forces can be used to do trades with the Azov battalion that was taken by the Russians in Mariupol. A lot of those prisoners, a lot of those soldiers that surrendered, they're still in Russia, they're still in prisons, they still have not been traded or released back to Ukraine. So if the Ukrainian forces are able to capture a lot of Russian soldiers in Izum, they will have a bargaining chip to get those soldiers back. As you guys know, the Azov battalions that were in Mariupol, they're one of the best fighting forces that Ukraine has. They are hard trained soldiers that are pretty much built for these types of battles. So hopefully in the next couple of days, we should see a lot more things happening around the Izum front. Another map that I want to show you guys is where the major moves, where a lot of soldiers are traveling to, and what directions these battles are taking place. If we zoom right here, you will see that the Ukrainians have opened up a lot of fronts, literally in every single direction. But if you see the Russian reinforcements, they're also coming all to defend this important city. This is literally the hub that pretty much helps the Russians take control of this entire Kharkiv region. So if this city falls, it will be a major blow to Russia. But if you look at the movement of the Ukrainian forces, you will see that they are going in every direction. They're going south towards Izum, they're going east, and they're going north. So they're literally spreading this front everywhere. And in my opinion, the Russians do not have the manpower to pretty much contain the Ukrainian forces on all fronts. So they will be pretty much withdrawing, trying to consolidate, trying to build defense lines in order to stop this offensive. I believe in the next week or two, the Ukrainian forces are going to take this entire region right here of Izum, and they're going to move up north as well. And once they secure these lines, it will be very difficult for the Russians to take this land back, especially if Ukraine takes this city right here, simply because of the natural barriers. Both of these bridges will be in Ukrainian control, so Russia will have a very difficult time crossing this body of water. So it will build a natural defense line for the Ukrainian forces. And now let's talk about why the counterattack in this region is so successful. And one of the main reasons is because the Russian defense lines right here are very thin. Compared to other areas, this area has very little Russian soldiers, and it has very small defenses. So it is very easy for a large Ukrainian force to break the defense lines and go as deep as they want. But when you go a little bit south, you will see the major positions of the Russian forces. and that is where their numbers are extremely big. For example, in Izum and Lysychansk. That is why it is more difficult for the Ukrainian forces to have any breakthroughs in these areas, simply because that is where all the Russian soldiers are concentrated at. And when we take a look at the Kherson region, you will see that there's a lot of Russian forces, probably over 25 to 30,000 Russian soldiers. And that is why this offensive in the Kherson region is way slower than this one. Right here, there's pretty much no major defense lines compared to right here, where the Russians have dug in deep with a lot of soldiers. So the progress in Kherson will be way slower than other fronts. But I believe eventually these defense lines are going to break. The Russians are going to lose morale, and eventually they will be kicked out of this region. And now let me show you why the Ukrainian forces need to take Kupiansk from the Russians. Let's take a look at another map. Alright, so Kupiansk is right here, and the Ukrainian forces are attacking it as we speak. But if you take a look at up north in Russia, all of these green dots are Russian military installations for tanks, for artillery, for soldier bases. Literally everything that they need comes from Russia. And a lot of this equipment and manpower takes this railroad right here. Then it goes to Kupiansk, and it gets distributed to all other regions of Ukraine. So if the Ukrainian forces are able to take this city and they are able to build defense lines and secure it, that will be a major blow to Russia. Alright everybody, that concludes this video. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more updates. See you in the next one. Peace out.